Hello everyone. In this video we are going to install Django with Tailwind CSS. We are going to see how do we integrate the Tailwind CSS with our Django project and use them together. Also, one thing to keep in mind is this video is very beginner friendly as I have not tried to cut out or skip any intermediate steps. I will also provide the timestamps and have a written version of this as well. So you can check that out in the description. Moving on, we are going to install Python, npm and Node.js and virtual environment in the next 2 minutes. So let's start. So if you haven't already, you can go to python.org. This is the official website for Python and hit to download sections and download the interpreter and install it. The second thing is you can install the Node.js. You can install any of the versions. Just download and hit install. So in the next step, we are going to verify these installations. If you are a beginner and installing these things for the first time, this is a very good step for you. So just hit python -- version and you see this version came up for the Python. Similar for the Node and similar for the npm. If all of these three versions came up in your terminal as well, then you're good to go. So now let's install the virtual environment. So in the same CMD, I'm going to write pip install Virtualenv. It is a Python package that is used to create virtual environments. In my case, it is already saying requirement satisfied because I already have this thing installed. So with that, we have completed our installation step and we can move to the next part. That is configuring Django with Tailwind. So let's start with that. So before moving any further, just open this page that is Django Tailwind library readthedocs.io. I'll share the link in the description so you can open this page. Now I'll put this in the side because we are going to follow all the steps that it is saying one by one. So here on the left I have a new folder that I have created for this tutorial, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to configure my virtual environment and Django project inside of these folders. So I have opened a new CMD here, and let's create a virtual environment now. So how do we create it? Using the virtualenv space env command. Env can be name of your virtual environment. So here as you see, my virtual environment has been created successfully. Now I have a new folder over there called as env. Now let's activate it. env/scripts/activate. This might change on depending on your operating system. So keep that in mind. Next step is we are going to install Django inside of this virtual environment. So it is being installed right now. Once this installation is complete, we will have our Django project up and running. After that, we can follow the steps for integration. So we are going to create a new project now, Django admin start project, and give it a project name. So the project that we'll be creating here will be available on my GitHub. I'll be providing you the link in the description. If you find anything confusing, you can just refer to the code. So now since we have all the steps ready, what we can do, we can move inside this project folder and open this thing inside VS Code. You can use any other text editor that you like. I'm using VS Code here. So I'll log this thing like this. And so this is a new Django project, right? And the next step, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to activate or select the Python interpreter for the VS Code terminal. We might need it later on. I'm going to find this thing and I'm going to this environment/script/python.exe file. Okay, cool. Now if I open a new terminal, you will see that my environment will be already activated for me. Now we are going to do the actual configuration part in step number 3. So now let's see the step 1. I'm going to copy the command given in the step 1, and in this terminal in which my environment is already active, I'm going to paste this. It is simply installing the Django Tailwind library that is there. So once you see it is installed, you can hit minimize and you can go to the next step. Second step says add this Tailwind app that you have installed right now to your Django settings.py installed apps. So here is my installed apps in my settings.py, and I'm going to add this thing here. Now the next thing it says is to make this CSS compatible, you need to add this thing. So run this command in your CMD. It is simply initializing your Tailwind project. You can add an app name, I'm calling it theme, and you will see your Tailwind project will be initialized after this thing. So you will also see a new folder in your Django project that has been created using this command. And we need to register this app as well. So this acts as a Django app as well. So you need to add this thing as well. Then after that, the fifth step says that you need to add this line of code in the settings.py for the configuration step. Simply go to the end of this settings.py and paste it. If you're using any other name, you can use that app name. After that, you need to copy this also, step number 6. Now we are ready to install this Tailwind. So before moving to the step number 7, if you recall, we installed the npm and node.js earlier, right? So let's go to the CMD and type where npm actually, where npm. It will give you the path of the npm, wherever it is installed in your computer. So here from this thing, I'm going to copy this second path. That is program file /node.js /npm.cmd, and I'm going to paste this thing inside the Django project so that Django knows where the npm is and how to communicate between npm and Django. So I'm going to create this variable called as npm bin path, npm underscore bin underscore path, and make it and paste this thing here. Also, the R in the front is very important. If you miss it out, it might not work for you. So make sure you make it a R string in Python using this where npm. Now moving on to this 8th step, and we can skip those for now. We can move to the 10th step now. So we are going to copy this third line of code from the installed apps, and we are going to paste it for the browser reload functionality. It is saying you need to add some middlewares also, so we are going to add the middlewares as well. Add the middleware for the Tailwind. Then you need to include this path inside of your urls.py. So copy this line, go to your urls.py file, and add this code exactly as it is given. Also, you need to import this include function that is there. So finally, you should be having this thing working. But before doing that, I forgot to follow the step number 7 after copying the path. So we are going back to the step number 7 now. And we are going to run this command in the CMD. So copy this thing. Very important, you need to make sure you copy and paste the npm path inside of your Django project. Now if I am hitting install, the npm command is working. You see, if you are from npm world, you will be seeing this thing familiar. This is npm project that is being initialized now. So that was a very important step that you need to follow. It will just get completed in a minute or two. You can wait it out. Okay, it was pretty quick and it installed correctly, I think. Yeah. So let's move on to the final step now. That is Python manage.py Tailwind start. So now there are going to be 2 servers that you need to run. One is this Tailwind server that you need to run, and another is your Django project server. So inside of the CMD, what am I going to do? I'm going to start the Tailwind server. It will check for any file changes inside of our project and will reload the Tailwind accordingly. Now with this, we have completed all the steps for the configuration part. So now we are going to create a new Django app. We can create it using Python manage.py, start app, and the name of the app is my app. So we've created a new app inside of the Django project, and we are going to firstly register this thing. So head on to your settings.py and register your application. Once you've registered your application, you will get all the files like models, views, tests, and things like this. So I'm going to create a new file that will be the index.html file that will be inside of the templates. So if you know how to create templates in Django, that is template/myapp/index.html to create that folder structure actually. So inside this folder structure, that is important for templates to be working in Django. Create the index.html file. In this file, we are going to use the Tailwind, and I'm going to add the view for this index.html file, and also create a urls.py file and route this thing to the view, which in turn returns the index.html file's content. From django.urls import path, and I'm going to create a new list after this thing. Also, you need to import the views. So these are Django fundamentals, right? So URL patterns, and inside of this thing, I'm going to add this path, and name is at index path. So we have routed this thing, and we have a view for this as well. Now all we need to do is add some content to the index.html file. So I'm going to create a HTML file. Let's change the title. And I'm going to write hello world, just to test that everything is working correctly. Now, if you go back to this documentation, we skipped two more steps here, one or two more steps here. So we are going to copy this 9th step code, add it to the top of the file, load Tailwind tags, and include this other tag in the head of the HTML content. And with that, I think we have skipped no more steps. Yeah, that should work. If we go to our localhost 8000, where our server should be, okay, we forgot to run our server, right? So let us go ahead and quickly run our server, python manage.py run server. Okay, it is talking about some migrations, but we don't want to worry about that right now. Also, we need to add the URLs in the main URLs, right? We need to include the URLs of the my app. Yeah, so this Copilot to the rescue. Okay, it is saying that index.html template does not exist. Why is this error coming up? Okay, we need to add the app name as well. We need to add my app/index.html. That was the whole point of creating that folder structure, right? So now it should be working. Hello, this is a Tailwind project in Django. Cool, we have this thing working now. Let's see if our Tailwind is working. That was the whole video about, right? It's about 14 minutes. So I'll add a class to this and try to give it a text of 2XL, let's say. And did it make any change? Let's give it some color. Yeah, yes, it indeed made some change. We have changed the color of this thing. So you see, we have successfully integrated our Django project with the Tailwind CSS. And because of the package that we are using, we already automatically get all of the features that we get in the Tailwind world, like auto reloading and things like that. So the process was a bit lengthy, but and it can be tricky for some people. But once you follow it completely, it works flawlessly. So if you have made so far in the video, thank you very much for watching the entire video. Do leave a like and comment your thoughts about the video if this way of teaching was correct. Because I did not edit out all the errors, all the intermediate steps that were there to keep this project as beginner friendly as I could, right? So if that helped, do leave me a like and comment on the video. Thank you very much.